All right, shalom. This is Amawan with GMS Wisconsin. Basically, here to bring out this little article or this little, a couple articles on what's going on in the media now today. This is the term "order out of chaos," which is it says "order out of chaos," or in Old Latin "Ordo Ab Chao." Us in the know are familiar with this term. It says a Latin expression meaning order out of chaos, a motto of the 33rd degree, and having the same allusion as lug e tenebris, which see in this work. The invention of this motto is to be attributed to the Supreme Council of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, which is Masonry and also what the elites use, so-called Illuminati, and it's part of their agenda. Now, I got a couple articles that's giving examples of order out of chaos. So I get this phone. All right. Now this is titled U.S. Capitol put on lockdown after reports of shooting nearby. And it says the U.S. Capitol was put on lockdown Tuesday afternoon after reports of an active shooter on a nearby street. Washington, D.C. police arrested two men after a car chase and found a machine gun inside the vehicle. Local media reported. It said reporters trapped at congressional offices have sent pictures of police activity on 3rd and C Street Northwest, Slovakia. Okay, here you go. It says staff has been told to silence cell phones and move away from windows. However, DC police confirmed they have received a call of a man with a gun at 1st and C Street Northwest, according to WJLA. I think that's what that meant. It says after reports, then someone in a car had a gun. DC police launched a car chase running down the suspects outside the Capitol. Video from the scene shows an African American male taken into custody, and all clear was given at 4:48 p.m. local time. Now, the reason why this is an example of order through chaos, because what's happening is the elites create the problem, right? And the problem stems all the way back. The problem stems back to this dude being able to get on the premises with a gun and do some type of shooting, which was the chaos. Now, how do the elites bring in the order? They make stricter gun laws, right? But this is building up to an even bigger story. Right, here's the next story. It says new Black Panther Party says to carry arms in Cleveland if illegal. Right, now you got to remember, just a couple days ago, if not a week, you had a so-called African American male do a shooting of a couple of police officers. And then from then, you got this other guy doing a shooting around the premises of the Capitol building. Now you got the Black Panther Party, the sellouts, claim to carry guns in Cleveland if legal. And I'm going to go ahead and read the story. It said Reuters, the new Black Panther Party, and Reuters is a credible source, a Black Power movement will carry firearms for self-defense during rallies in Cleveland ahead of next week's Republican convention. That's why they had the shooting on the Capitol, around the Capitol, man, because they want to make a big deal out of the situation. It says in which it says if allowed under Ohio law, the group's chairman said. It says the plan by the group this weekend comes as police in Cleveland brace for an influx of groups that plan demonstrations before and during the presidential nominating convention. It says during the attack last week in Dallas that 5 police officers, law enforcement officials, said demonstrators carrying rifles led them to initially believe they were under attack by multiple shooters. It says several other groups, including some supporters of presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, have said they will carry weapons in Cleveland. Okay, so basically what you see going on is the elites basically setting everybody up for okie doke. They having it to where these blacks now starting to bring out their guns at these Republican events or around the Capitol so they can create more gun laws, which in turn also the Trump protesters, the white ones of them, and the ones who the blacks that's with them, that's about peace, that's against the so-called Black Panther Party, they all gonna be out there with weapons on top of the police being ready for anything to pop off, and they bringing all their weapons, which is turning into basically a big event, man. But ultimately, the whole goal is to get the guns from the people. Not only that, also to keep this race riot brewing until it pop off to the devastating effects, man. And then that's when the elites kick in the next part of the agenda, which is it can be martial law or so on and so forth, man. It says, if it's an open state to carry, we will exercise our Second Amendment rights because there are other groups threatening to be there that are threatening to do harm to us. Hashim Zinga, chairman of the new Black Panther Party, told Reuters in a telephone interview, if that state allows us to bear arms, the Panthers and others who can legally bear arms will bear arms. Zinga said he condemned the Dallas shootings. Officials in Ohio have said it will be legal for protesters to carry weapons to demonstrations outside the convention under the state's open carry law, which allows civilians to carry guns in public. It says Black Panthers promote defense against racial oppression, and some advocating for the establishment of armed self-defense groups, black social institutions, and self-sufficient economy. It says the new Black Panther Party has long called for a separate black nation, but Zinga said the movement was focused on protecting black American rights. Right, and then you can go further into the story if you want to. Now, basically, like I said, man, this is part of the elite's agenda, order through chaos. These blacks rising up, carrying guns. They putting that stigma out there. Now they're getting hostile. Now they're shooting guns, which now the whites are arming up and protesting with their guns, and they always been protesting with their guns, which basically is fuming this race war, man. Which is going back to the term order through chaos, because then now the elites got to kick in and do something, which they're going to use their militaries and their legislations and then their police officers to get involved, which is all biblical prophecy, man. Okay, hold on. All right, now let's go to the scriptures. Because the moral of the story is, man, in the end, is really to get a hold on, to bring in this new world order and to get a hold of the Israelites, man, because you know, every time you see one of these so-called African Americans that's doing some type of so-called evil to these white people, he always resembles an Israelite, man. As far as his attire, him having a beard, so on and so forth, man. So they really trying to put a hold on this truth, man. Also, Slovakia computers. All right, seeing as this is taking all day, this is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds," because ultimately these so-called activists and leaders of these groups are set up by the elites, man, that's making Jake carry these weapons, provoking Jake to carry these weapons through the racial tensions and, you know, them putting out there that we got to stand up and fight back. That's all part of the elites' agenda, man, to bring in this martial law, then ultimately the New World Order, and also the RFID chip, man. It says to work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, right? Because it is in the power of their hand. And they, yeah, that's basically it. Um, well, yeah, that's basically it for the lesson. Just bringing out the term order through chaos. The elites create the chaos, and then they come in with the the order right afterwards, man. But all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai, double honor to the elders and apostles that rule well. Shalom.